Hello, I'm Shawn Winders, Digital Learning Coach for Union County.
Hi, I'm Lori Corbin. I'm the digital learning coach for Webster County Schools.
All right, and we're going to be looking at Google Drawings today. This is one of those kind of missed applications that's in that G Suite product. This is a great kind of photo editing, PDF building tool that a lot of people miss. And it's very useful. It has a lot of different applications, and this is definitely, I think, from my quick glance at what we're going to talk about today, this is definitely a beginner user capability tool. Wouldn't you agree, Lori?
Yes, I would. I think some of our teachers are beginning to kind of jump on the Google Drawings train, but there's definitely room for others, and there's so much that you can do with it.
And I'll get us started, I believe. And this is a kind of a more advanced trick. This doesn't have a lot of applications, but you can actually add video to Google Drawings. So if you initially go into Google Drawings and you look for the insert option, you're not going to see the choice to add video, but it is actually there. So long as you keep this as a Google Drawing application, and you don't convert it to PDF or convert it to an image, a video will play in here. So if you jump over to slides and go to insert video, whatever video you find and post onto your slide, you're then going to have the ability to actually copy it and just paste it directly into a Google Drawing. Like I said, the applications here are fairly limited, but if you were trying to build a kind of interactive graphic and just left it in that drawing application, it'll actually play in there. I wish you could convert it to PDF and it still played, because that would make a really neat page development, but it does work, and it's kind of a neat little tool that I can see like students who are designing different little things could really utilize. But that is my first trick.
Okay, I'll take trick number two. The first one that I used, I guess, that got me started with Google Drawings was the email signature. And I created an email signature using this. And to do that, you just simply go to Google Drawings. And of course, you have to tweak your page setup a little bit. I changed mine to, I believe it was 8 something. I'm showing it in the video to, I think it was 2 something. It kind of
825 it looks like, yeah.
a long like banner. And of course, I started with the text box and just wanted to get my actual signature in. And I actually started doing this because I started earning some of the digital badges. And of course, they want you to showcase those in your email signature. And it got problematic doing it in Outlook. And so I thought there has to be an easier way where I can get all of this in one spot. So I gave Google Drawings a chance, and it actually worked really well. And so once I get my signature in, then you can go in and you can add in like anything, any graphics that you wanted. So I just started with my Bitmoji, but you could certainly do that with, you could use a real picture. The possibilities are endless. I just went to insert and uploaded from my computer where I had my Bitmoji stored, or I had a real picture stored, and then you can just bring it in there. And of course, now you can see I'm lining it up, and just, a lot of times you have to get all of your items in there, and then you can go into placing those items in the best fit. And so next, you're going to see me insert one of the badges. I think it was a master screencaster from Screencastify that I'm bringing in, hopefully here soon. But anyway, so anyway, I just resized that down, and of course, my original email signature, I have probably 6 or 7 badges, and so I just bring each one of those in one at the time, and then I just resize and place. Once you're done, you can go to File and download that as a JPEG image. And then when you go into Outlook, where you go into set up your email signature, then you can just upload this JPEG in there, and then it can you can set it so that it will attach to any email that you send. So it just makes it nice that like I said, setting it up in Outlook was very problematic for me, especially as I started earning those badges and I wanted to put those in my signature. So you can give Google Drawings a try for that. And also you can use it with students, especially like if you're talking about email etiquette and you're teaching them about, certain things that you do's and don'ts in email. One of the things I always had them set up a signature. And so, this can personalize that. And, it gives you a chance to have some of those real world conversations with kids about how they're going to correspond with people, following high school and in the workforce. So that's my first trick.
See, I like this because so once you save your picture, if you get another badge, you just find Drive, go into Drive,
Right.
find your drawing, and then you can make those little edits and tweaks and add
Right.
to it,
Well,
and
now
it's continuously growing.
I do have to go back into Outlook and upload the new image,
Yeah,
but it here I start with my original and add to. I think in Outlook I would have to completely start with a clean slate.
yeah. So it's good. I like that. And mine's kind of falling somewhat similar under the same suit. So instead of a signature, this is editing your banner pages. And so we lined up really well on this. So I work off of a template that I've got from Alice Keeler. And if you have a chance to ever check out Alice Keeler, she has a bunch of really neat tricks. And I'll be sure on the descriptions to post a link to her page. But you can see this is just a standard slide deck. But the top third and the bottom third are reserved as white. And that's because when you upload these banners, it's only going to be that center orange piece. And you can always customize this and tweak that as you need. But I'm just going to insert an image. I'm going to make sure it falls into that orange banner piece. Because then when I upload it, that's all you're going to see. So I'm just going to grab a graphic and let that kind of be my background. I kind of put a note on here, don't put anything at the top third and bottom third. But once you have your different pieces, you get your background, you throw in a Bitmoji, you put in a whole text box thing, you can get this banner looking exactly how you want. And then when you go to upload it in these different locations, it fits really well. And when I say different locations, once you have this built and you save this, you can go into Google Sites, you can go into Google Classroom, you can go into Google Forms, and each of those will let you actually upload as a banner. And I will say with the Google Classroom, the kids really get a kick when it's that really customized. And I know a lot of people have, if you're sharing with a bunch of teachers, it really lets the kids like keep track of the actual class itself. And so where I drop this image in right here, you can see, I covered up the orange banner, but all I have to do is kind of crop to kind of keep track of where I'm going to be at and what's going to actually be utilized. But that's really it. Once you hit file download, it's then going to be your JPEG or PNG or I think you can still save it as a GIF and it'll let you upload, but those are going to be the only two that you have to really worry about. Yeah, that is it for me.
I love using this tool for, like your Google Classroom banners that you have if you want to personalize those. Google Forms, you can use this with any of those. And of course, once you get those that custom dimension, with the orange banner that you're talking about, you can place anything within that. Bitmojis, use some text effects.
It's just initially once you learn, like, all right, it's got to be in
Mhm.
that center third. Once you figure that out, that's that hard thing of getting things to a kind of align. And like I said, once you figure out that okay, in drawings, if I just use that center third, it's going to fall exactly where it needs to be every time on any of these GC products. And so I think you finally get to see the example I have on here. I always have too many pictures, so it takes me too long, even alphabetized, for me to find these things. And so you can see it fit perfectly when it finally uploaded. It cut that top third off and that bottom third off.
There's nothing worse than fighting with a picture and trying to get it in
Trying
that.
to get it to fit. All right, I will let you go.
Okay, so my next tip is for my math teachers out there. I know I am not a math person. I have a husband and a daughter that are, but that did not pass on to me. But I do know that one thing in math that is used is a coordinate plane. So getting that into Google Drawings is fairly simple. You just have to open up a new drawing and then you go to Tools and Explore. And when you get to Explore, you can just type in coordinate plane. And the first one that comes up, I think, is from Wikipedia or somewhere. It's a good one. You can see I'm having to go to images, and then you can just click on that and drag it over. I had a little mishap there, so I had to go back and do it again. But you drag it over, and it will show up in the drawing. Of course, you can resize. You can make it as big as you want it, as small as you want it. So I'm resizing there. And then also too, you can either leave kind of this no backdrop, or you can change the background to a color. So I'm doing that here. I'm just taking a text box and putting it on, and then I'm changing the color to white. Now you'll notice that the plane goes away, but all you have to do is go to Arrange and Order, and just send that background to the back, and then the coordinate plane comes back up. With a coordinate plane, of course, you've got to have your points. So you just go to Insert, Shape, and I just put in a circle, and you can make that, you can size that to whatever size you want. And then once you get one of them done, you can simply click on it and copy and paste it, and so all of your points are the same. Once you get your 2 points on your coordinate plane, you can go back to Insert, or you can use the shortcut that's actually on the toolbar, which is what I'm doing here. And you can connect those two points with a line. So eventually I get that. It kept wanting to resize on me. So just proof that everything doesn't work right the first time. So keep trying. But so I get that line in there. You can change the color of the line, which you see me doing here. And then you can also change the thickness of the line as well. And so that allows you to graph your points on that coordinate plane. Now, once you're done with that, you can take and drag those points off to the side, so that if you want students to graph something, then you could start with like this image here, and you could give them the points that you want them to graph, and then they could put those in and then create the line, and thus creating the graph. And so you can copy and paste these into a Google Doc if you want to use them within a Google Doc. But if you push them out the classroom, it can make a copy for each student, so each student has their own coordinate plane. You can just keep you like a sample one set, so that you can easily go to your drive and just put that into whatever you're using, whether it's a doc or a slides presentation or whatever. But that's what I have to offer to my math folks.
See, I really like this for the students being able to show an option to do your math digitally. So I am very much a math background, and I always say, there's still nothing beats pencil and paper, but there are options that are out there to kind of let kids show this off digitally and put them in responses. And your example with the coordinate plane is great, but you can go as far as like geometry, show up a shape and change up the dimensions on it, and then have the kids do the math off to the side. And so this on the fly kind of creation is actually very possible with Google Drawings. So I like that. And yet again, we fit perfectly because under the same aspect, you can build worksheets. And so taking a lot of those same principles that you had, we take a Google Drawing and you go to page setup, and we're going to make this the size of a piece of paper. So we're going to go to others, and we're going to change it to 8.5 by 11. And I love this for worksheet creations. Every teacher wants to try to build a worksheet in Google Docs, and it's not designed for that. It's designed for typing out a paper. Google Drawings and Google Slides is the best place to build a worksheet out of. With Google Drawings, you're limited to one page, but if you're doing just a straight PDF worksheet, that's you can have it just be a continuous thing, make it a little longer than 8.5 by 11, it works great. But strictly one sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, you get to type in your text pieces, you get to insert pictures, you can edit the little pictures on top of it and make little changes and adjustments. You're not fighting layouts at all because you're deciding exactly where every piece you want can go. And so you get into a Google Doc and it's, oh, I got to tab over, I can't get this to the right of this where I want it. When I printed it, it shifted a little bit. You don't have to worry about this because you'll save this as a PDF or even an image and it works great. So just whatever topic you want, and it is not limited. You can go as low as elementary. On this one, I just said, draw an arrow toward the animal, but you could actually have your multiple choice math questions. You could have your coordinate plane posted on there where you're printing this off for a student and they're drawing it out. And so taking this digital tool and going and creating an actual printable worksheet is terrific. And I wish I saw more teachers using this more so than making those, like I said, my personal opinion on this, those terrible Google Doc worksheets. But that is my trick.
All right, again, we're kind of thinking alike here. My third trick is kind of a interactive notebook. I know that when I ask teachers, those that are using Google Drawings, it almost always seems like that it's mainly our science teachers that have really kind of taken that dive into Google Drawings. But I got this idea from Matt of Ditch That Textbook, and he was using Google Drawings to create like the scientific method, like a lab report. And so here I'm just inserting shapes. I'm using the rounded rectangular shape, and you can see me resizing those to make them the size that I want. I can even add text within there. Toward the end, I ended up using a text box for like the headings of each shape so that it would kind of lock that heading there, and then I'd put in a text box for kids to actually put their response. But again, it's like a worksheet kind of like thing, and you can push this out through Google Classroom, makes a copy for the student, and then they have their own copy that they can put their information on. And so you just see me adding here different things. I'm also using, right now you can see I'm changing the color. You can change the color of the shapes to make them different colors, or I mean, you can leave them all the same. Um, you can use this tool with students and let them come up with things that, with graphic organizers, with infographics. You can use that with anything and let them be the creators rather than you being the creator all the time, and see what they come up with. I think you'd be surprised at what students are able, to create when we give them the opportunity. So, it doesn't always have to be you, the teacher. I know when I was a classroom teacher, I kind of had that mentality. I was like, I have to be the one. I have to set it up. I have to get it, I have to create it. And so, you can let your students have uh, a stake in that and let them create. And of course, I did change the page setup to the size of a piece of paper of the 8.5 by 11. And so it is, you can see on my screen that it is that paper length. And so here I'm inserting that text box where it would give them space to type in their response, and it would kind of leave that heading alone. And then here's kind of the finished product when I added, boxes for all of the different parts. And so, like I said, I try to get all of my components in there, and then I start trying to resize and fit them in. So, but you certainly don't have to do it that way. To each his own. So you can do, if you like doing one at a time and getting that one set, then that's definitely how you need to do it. And so, but the great thing about it is Google Drawings allows you to do either one. I mean, it's completely open, and so it does allow you to create things.
What's neat about this is you can have this like diagram and have all these little boxes created and thrown off to the sides and go, okay, for this activity, I'm going to need this, this, and this. And you can drag and pull it over. Or for this activity, I want to swap those out. And so if you take your time, you can kind of build a little interactive database where you can just drag and pull. And so that's really neat. I like that.
I noticed too, I didn't feature it on this one, but if you went to insert, there were also under like diagrams, there's lots of templates that you can use
Oh, yeah,
that
they're really
are
neat.
already set up. Again, you can use that explore tool to find things, that you can, where you can have something, a picture, and you want them to identify the parts and kind of label, the possibilities are endless.
Just be creative, right?
Right, right.
All right. Well, Lori, thank you for your time, and everyone out there who watched, thank you, and please keep watching these. We're going to try and fill you up with as many tips and tricks as we can, and just thank you for using these digital tools. I hope they're making your lives a lot easier. But thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Bye bye.